the event started with a little light humor.
Say to me, Daddy, do the dinosaur. They didn't know that I could become a velociraptor from Jurassic Park, but I could.
Raina here, recording from Reading, Pennsylvania. We are about to hear Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones live in Reading, Pennsylvania. Well, it's a little loud here, so I'm going to send it back to you guys, right back in the studio.
And of course, you can't have a real patriotic event without this song. And then it began.
The most dishonest.
We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe.
What you're watching is not a political movement, it's evil.
Free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy.
Well, the one thing you can't censor is a live event. When he stood up after being shot in the face, this was no longer a man. This was the leader of the nation. The second you decide to tell the truth about something, you are filled with this power from somewhere else. Try it. The more you tell the truth, the stronger you become. He leads. This is true of any organization, starting with the most basic organization in any society, which is the family. A father's job is to watch over his family. And if his kids are sick and have drug problems, and he takes off to another country to deal with other people's children in a faraway land, he has abandoned his family. And I don't care what story he tells you about himself and what a great and caring and compassionate person he is, and I don't care how much he attacks you for noticing, he is a bad father and a bad man. Pass on history, that's what our culture is, it's talking. And that's great. But words are also, if you think about it, a means of deception. They are a vector for lying. How do the lies reach you? Because they come out of somebody's mouth. So if you're in my business and you think a lot about language and you're around people who are lying for a living, after a while, you lose faith in it. You do. And after a while, at least if you're me, you decide, I'm going to be a lot more like my dog. My dog is not a fluent English speaker. Genius, but doesn't speak English. You can say, well, I have a plan because I am so compassionate. I really care about you and all your communities. First of all, anyone who uses the word community is lying to you. Because there's no such thing as a community, there are only people. Delight in the suffering of other human beings, you're evil. And I mean that. That's what my religion tells me, that's what common sense tells me. That's disgusting. That's disgusting. And yet they do. Because the truth is they're violence worshipers, actually. They're violence worshipers. They are. And how do you know that? By what they do? Not what they say, it's all about freedom and compassion. Really? An entire generation of Ukrainians has been killed in a war they literally can't win. And they get off on it. They love it. They love violence. That's why every federal agency with guns, they've taken over. No, they love it. And why do they love it? Because it makes them feel like God. That's why. Because the one power that God possesses that we do not possess is the power to create and end life. You can kill in self-defense. We can argue about what the self-defense is. I mean, that's, it's a whole conversation, which is a legitimate conversation. But what we know we can't do because we are not God is murder people because they're in the way. Or murder people to get rich. You can't be Dick Cheney, actually. Sorry, it's not allowed. How do they get 70% of the wealth? They don't do anything, actually. They have no skills. There's nothing they do that we really need. In fact, most of it's bad. I mean, ask yourself, if your average Biden voter somehow got pulled out of the workforce, would you be okay? No, I'm really. How long do you think this country could survive without private equity? A week? Before we all just starve to death.
Tucker was on fire, and then he invited Jack to the stage.
I've never seen Josh Shapiro, and I've known the guy for 18 years. I've never seen him more excited or giddy or gleeful as he was in that picture, sending the money and the war and the bombs and the violence abroad.
Let me just say, we had a little trouble finding an arena that would
take him because he's so controversial. Jones, in the summer of 2001, said, you need to call the White House right now because planes are going to hit the World Trade Center and they're going to blame it on Osama bin Laden. He said that. I've seen the tape.
And then the moment we were all waiting for, Alex Jones takes the stage.
History repeats and rhymes, and so, just like the kickoff of this country on July 4th, 1776, started an hour away from here, and that's why, coming right back, history repeats, the key battleground state again, the second battle to save the Republic, the first battle was launched to form the Republic, is happening right here in Pennsylvania, and I interviewed you today, amazing interview, quick interview, you were gracious to give it, in between your busy schedule, and you said, look, I feel confidence in my gut, intellectually, every level. Even if they steal this, it doesn't matter, because the process of awakening is here, and nothing is going to turn that around. So we have the initiative, we turn the tide, and whether it takes 6 months or 20 years, we're going to evict the globalists out of this country, and we're going to restore the Republic. Victory is ours.
The one you ever meet in real life outside the Atlantic magazine and the Aspen Institute and that Freaky Walls character, no actual person is for any of this.
And nobody's for tampons in boys' bathrooms. We talked about this interview today, and of course you're a historian and a journalist, you know about it, but most people don't know about it. Of course this is all deliberate. The CIA in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s funded Ms. Magazine, Gloria Steinem, Planned Parenthood. The whole thing is it's run by the globalists against our country. It's the 47th National Security Act. And they said that we're going to have ugly architecture, ugly art, ugly music. We're going to degrade the family. We're going to undermine the symbol of men being strong in the home. This is all declassified. And they sold that image to demoralize us and break our will. And we were asleep back then and didn't know the government had been hijacked. They thought Americans were intimidated and bullied and weak. No, we were asleep. Now they try to debilitate us. Now they try to demoralize us. Now they try to break our will. And we're conscious of it. And we're like, that's not breaking our will. That's waking us up.
I know more people in my secular world who are mentioning God in conversation. And I don't know if you're having this experience. It's very striking to me. Do you notice this?
When we followed God, we had nothing but prosperity and success. When we got rid of God, everything fell apart. I mean, people think Texas is a boot place. It's got the crime, the filth, the Satanism, the degeneracy, the pedophiles. Pennsylvania, gorgeous state, fell apart in 10 years. California, one of the most beautiful places in the world, total deep red. Ronald Reagan, total crap hole now. It's spiritual blight, and people are recognizing that because now they understand we're getting sucked down a vortex into literal hell. We got to reach back up to God, and God will take us out of this. A cyber attack will make COVID look like a minor inconvenience. Not in a Russian accent, I'm a German. Of course, you will eat the bugs and you will love it. But these are real quotes. We don't need too many people in the future to polish the robots. These are real quotes. Yuval Noah Harari. Oh, the future's not human. You're just obsolete. We're going to be the gods. I don't believe in God now, he said, but I'll be the God of the clouds. Ray Kurzweil at Google. He says, I don't believe in God yet. I'm going to become a God. But to do that, all you folks just want to be good, decent people and live a good life and experience God's great creation and love God. You need to be gotten out of the way for the rise of their new uber-mentioned Superman. So we're right back to all of that, and that's why you have the official plan of depopulation by the UN down to 500 million. That's an 80+% reduction. That's official. That was on the Georgia Guidestones in Georgia until somebody blew it up. But when Elon came on via video link and he said, listen, people don't want your world government. It centralizes things. It's tyranny. People are rejecting you. We need diversity of countries and sovereignty and peoples, like firewalls in a building or bulkheads in a ship. But in some of the other meetings, they had these globals and they're going, We're just doing something so beautiful, what we're bringing them. I don't know why they're opposing us and don't trust us. Well, because you just want to depopulate us because you're selfish, demonic pigs who love the raw power of destroying people, because America, for all its faults, was the best house in a bad neighborhood. And the whole world for 200 plus years, but really the last 100, aspired to come here, aspired to have our freedom. And the globalists can't have this country exist and have their horrible global technocracy, slave plantation, AI system in charge if there's a place that's still free and open compared to everywhere else. So we've got to be brought down and used to bring tyranny to the world while we're being destroyed and while we're paying for it. So the whole world turns against us and we collapse. And so the idea of America is discredited so that other people around the world don't ever try to go the path of our republic, which is diametrically opposed to their globalist, satanic death cult. And that's why they're attacking.
Alex Jones was fired up.
Desiring to kill huge numbers of people, like that can only be supernatural, it feels like.
And that's what the Bible tells us, is there's an outside force putting powerful people in positions to carry this out, to keep humanity from reaching its potential destiny. And God gave us free will, and so there's the tester there. And so that is the mission and the existence of Satan, whether you believe that's a real thing, because I know it is, or an archetype. Regardless, it's there. And if you read the robber barons 120 years ago and the social Darwinism that came out of it, they wrote books and said, when we do evil, bad things and kill people en masse, we are the apex predator. We're doing them a favor to make them stronger. So it's really just eugenics. But at the end of the day, you study the globalists, they're not just trying to kill the weak and the infirm and the low IQ, which you're not supposed to do as a human made in the image of God. You're supposed to build up the weak. Christ said, suffer the little children, what you do to the least of me, you've done to me. Better for you to have a millstone tied around every throw in the ocean. But the globalists put fluoride in the water for everybody. They hate the smartest and the best and the freest because it competes with them. And so they're trying to stop their competition. Those people that love God and have free will, because we're much stronger and more powerful than them, but we don't seek power. And every moment they're thinking if we wake up and take back control of our destiny, it's over for them. So that's why they hit us with the 5G and the GMO and all the garbage and the glyphosates in their own documents, is to stun us and poison us so that they can dominate us, not because they're strong, but because they're weak. And have never had a backyard or cooked meat. And I was thinking, oh, that's human. That's nice. Maybe he'll become a human. And then I looked at the grill, and it was fresh patties with a piece of cheese on it, and he's trying to serve a raw hamburger. Okay, so the point is, so many of these ultra-rich people and elitists and other poor kids that grow up in the city, who are impoverished as well, they literally grow up in a tiny little room with a television and crime all around them and all this crap going on and sirens, and they've never been out in the woods, they've never been fishing, they've never been out to the desert, they've never traveled the world, they've never ever had a real job, they've never anything. And if you look at the politicians, and Democrats particularly, they are not connected to reality. So to them, everything human is scary. They want sanitized, shrunken. I mean, if you look at Democrat Party politicians, they look like a demonic spider sucked their life force out. So these are...
Wait, I'm sorry, I want you to stop. When you look at a Democratic politician, they look like a demonic spider sucked their life force out. I just want to acknowledge that.
Mr. Jones raised very interesting points.
The vibes, it was 20 feet from Hillary, you repel. It's up there like...
And it can't all be serious. Sometimes we have to have a laugh here and there.
And they're slithering around, and I mean, it's like... And then, God bless her soul, Sheila Jackson Lee or whatever just died. Before she did, she gets up and she goes, I saw that eclipse. It almost burned up the moon. We know the sun's the same size as the moon, and the moon is hollow and glows. A lot of them aren't even evil, but they're dumber than hell. And the globalists are counting on that. But look, knowledge is infectious. How the world works is infectious. They don't want people to get excited about knowledge. And once you do, it's addicting. And people ask me all the time, what do we tell young people to do? The opposite of what Hollywood tells you. Anything Democrats tell you, anything politicians say that are leftist, anything Hollywood says, anything BlackRock funds, it's simple. It's like somebody handing you cyanide or fentanyl. Don't take it, don't get near it, and just love your family, be strong. Don't feel bad because you don't have a bunch of money. Don't feel bad because your truck isn't new. Don't feel bad. No, you've got a soul and you love God, you love your country, you love your family, and you are a trillion times richer than people like Zuckerberg and the rest of them. You're not a victim, you're not a loser. You are the sleeping giant that now has awoken, and our enemies are afraid, and they should be afraid.
Like one day from being someone everybody made fun of to being the most heroic figure in human history, I'm still kind of bewildered by it, but I would be interested in your take on Kamala Harris. Who is Kamala Harris and how did she get here?
That's a great question. Well, Kamala Harris got the same amount of votes in the primaries as Ronald McDonald, which is 0. Trump will get 49 states. But because of the mass fraud in states that are, once Democrats take control of your voting system, since the 90s, it's very hard to turn it back. I know Pennsylvania's tried to tighten up some things, and Texas has taken millions of dead people and illegals off the voting rolls, and so is Nevada's taking hundreds of thousands off. So, look, the evidence, it's a long story, but Trump won in a landslide in 2016, barely won. People thought he was invincible and he's going to win, no problem. In 2000, so he barely won, so they were able to steal it. He's going to have a bigger landslide in 42 days than he did in 2016. That's why they tried to kill him twice now, and probably more times we're being told we don't know about.
If he was losing, the assassination attempts would be unnecessary. That's why the assassination attempts are happening. That's why there's 5 guilty.
So what, and I'll let you take us out on this on a note of hope, which what you said, you gave advice for what children should be doing. What should the people in this room be doing? What should be their attitude, not just for the next 42 days, but for the next year? And what can people
Mr. Jones concluded with a powerful message.
Or, some people have other lives. I'm definitely not perfect, but I'll tell you what I've been doing since I was at least 18 years old. And I became a Christian before that, but it was like I'm a Christian, but I really wasn't truly born again. You got to get on your knees in the morning or in the middle of the night or whenever you wake up. You got to get on your knees. You got to tell God, I can't do this. I need you to come into me and take control and lead God and direct me and tell me what to do. And you got to change your values to where you don't care what the world says or what the system says. You care to do what the conscience that God gave you, that guardian angel that you know's right there looking over your shoulder, tells you to do, and you've got to not be a coward, and you've got to be strong. And the minute you step across that point, you don't even have courage anymore. You're on a mission, and you're not possessed by the Holy Spirit, but you let it in, and it's now driving and in control, and now you got God behind you, and nobody can stand against us if God's with us.
And thank you guys for being safe in the studio. We are reporting here live in Reading, Pennsylvania, where we just finished the Tucker Carlson tour with Alex Jones and Jack Pastrobek. The energy here was just amazing. People were really getting into it, and they were so excited to be here. And you could just feel the love and the passion and the power and all the support for both Tucker, Alex, and Jack, and that people are genuinely irritated with what's going on in this country, and they want to change. And it's people like this, great Americans who came out today in Reading, Pennsylvania, and that's just it. It's just amazing. So thank you so much, and back to you guys in the studio.